Y'all, it's your girl Sonia, and welcome back to She Say Sports. Today I have with me plant-based vegan, founder of Winner's Circle Group, Mr. Tim White. Now, the Winner's Circle Group is for those that are ready to win in their health, wealth, and relationships. Tim, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you, Sonia?
I am doing well. Now, Tim, I brought you on the show today to talk about our health during this pandemic. I brought on psychotherapist Michael Dangerfield to discuss the mental effects COVID-19 is having on a lot of us. Now I want to discuss the effects that COVID-19 is and can have on our health, and what are some things we can do to make our immune system stronger just in case someone contracts the virus. But before we talk about that, please tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, I am a husband and father of 3 children. Yes, 3 children. I have 2 sons and a daughter. And then my wife, we've been married now going on 13 years, and believe it or not, we've been together since the 9th grade.
Wow. Yes. That is such a blessing. 9th grade.
Yep.
Okay.
And during the day, I'm an actual electrical instructor at one of the local community colleges here. But outside of that, man, I just love sharing my passion, which is what we're doing now, just talking about improving our health. It's so very important, especially right now during this pandemic.
Yes, it is. And before we get into that, okay, y'all, look, this is my brother or whatever, and he always is talking about he wants to play me in Uno. However, he never wants to set up time. He actually wanted to play me on the roof of his car at church. Who plays cards at church, y'all? I want to put tables, and I don't want to be on holy ground and, be wanting to talk like I'm in the cafe or something. Come on, Tim.
Don't get embarrassed. Please don't.
No,
don't get embarrassed.
You don't get embarrassed because it will go down. But
listen,
hopefully
we're going live on Facebook, and we're going to play. How about that?
Okay, let's do that. So hopefully when this pandemic is over and we can be closer than 6 feet on and popping. Understood?
That's a deal.
Okay.
That's a deal.
Before Tim starts talking about his journey becoming a vegan and everything, and talking about how we can get past this COVID-19 with eating better, I want to give a little testimony. Back in August 2017, Tim and his wife Kim had a 30-day challenge on Facebook, and I decided to join them. The challenge was to go with no meat, no white, such as rice or potatoes, and I believe no sugar, right, Tim?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, the biggest challenge for me at that time was the no meat. I grew up like most of us eating meat, and 30 days without it was almost unimaginable at that time. Well, I lived. And I lost about 20 pounds. More importantly, I felt better. Now I've been 3 years no beef. I went 2 years no pork, and about a year and a half no chicken. I've been mainly vegetarian for the last 2 years, but have slipped up with a chicken wing in my mouth here and there. So I'm being honest. But my goal is to be completely vegan by the end of the year, and I owe it all to this brother right here. Tim, thank you so much for helping me do something that I had been wanting to do for years, but I didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I had it in me to actually let go of meat. So thank you so much.
Man, you're welcome. You're welcome.
So Tim, how did you start your vegan journey?
Awesome. Well, to be honest, it was kind of by accident. Like I say, I really did not plan to just say I'm going to go vegan. Actually, 2015, I was overweight and on high blood pressure medication, right? I was taking my pills faithfully, and I felt like as long as I took my pills, I can eat whatever I wanted. I know there's a lot of listeners that may be in that same situation. But December 2015, I made my mind up that I was going to eat like Adam for 30 days, starting January the 1st, 2016.
For those who do not know who Adam is, who is Adam?
Let me say it like that. Adam in the Bible. Right?
Okay.
So I just felt that my spirit God was wanting me to eat like Adam. So I had to go to the Bible because I didn't know what Adam ate. When I saw what Adam ate, I kind of thought they can't be God because Adam didn't eat Wingstop. You know what I mean? Adam didn't eat Wingstop. So I said, you know what?
Right.
I said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and do it. And I had one blood pressure pill left. And that was my motivation because I said, if I mess up during those 30 days, I'm going to have to go back to my pill. But as long as I stay on track, I'm not going to take that pill. So make a long story short, I did that whole 30 days. And at the end of the 30 days, I remember my wife telling me that, you know, you can eat whatever you want February the 1st. Sonny, I'm just going to be honest. I felt so good that I did not want to mess it up. So I did another month, and to make a long story short, when I got to the 6th month, I had to do my 6-month checkup with my doctor, right? Anybody that's ever taken blood pressure medication, you know you got to do your follow-up every 6 months. Well, when I got there, the doctor was so impressed that my blood pressure was so well. He thought that the medication was doing it. But I didn't tell him I hadn't taken that medication. It was just strictly me changing my diet, eating a plant-based diet. But at that point, I just decided to just finish out the whole year. So make a long story short, that was January 2016. Here we are, August 2020, and I'm still on track. So like I say, it was purely by accident, but I'm so glad that I did it. But that's how I got into it, though.
Wow. So did you fall off the wagon like I did at any time during your journey?
No, and that's the
Wow.
weird part about it. I'm born and raised here in Mississippi. Born on neck bones, fried chicken, pork chops, all that.
Yes.
So like you were saying, one of the hardest parts is the meat because that's what we always eat. But I live by this motto, it's all about the W, it's all about winning. I took the mindset of a person that's in sports that I will not let this defeat me. And so that first month, it was tough. But also what I did, Sonya, I always tell people you got to get your mind right. During that time, I watched so many different documentaries. I watched so many YouTubes on just food, good foods to eat, but also what the bad foods were doing to us. So that kind of changed my mindset because knowing all that information, it was hard to go back to certain foods because you know exactly what it's doing to you. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that helped me stay on track. And like I say, I did not fall off the wagon. I have not had any type of meat, period. But like I say, it all starts with the mind, and that's something I had to really, really work on. Because listen, 4th of July, coming around your family, you better have your mind right. You better have your mind right.
You're right.
So like I said, I had to stay true.
So, okay, you mentioned documentaries, and I've had in my Netflix list the health for like years, because I know if I see it, I'm done with it. I'm done with meat completely. And for the most part, I am. Like I said, I've had slip-ups, and I guess I may try to watch that this weekend. I don't know, because I already know everybody that has seen it, they like, I'm done. I'm never doing it again. And I think that's probably what will probably have to tip me on over because, people have asked me, well, why aren't you eating meat? It's not because I'm not, and there's nothing wrong with those people. I'm not that person who I don't want to eat a cow. No, I grew up on that. I know what I like. And, I didn't quit because of health issues. I mentioned to you before, I've had fibroids. I had surgery in 2008, removed 12 fibroids. And then they have come back to the last 3 or 4 years. And I'm only doing it because, hormonal meat, dairy is not good for, and like white food, rice and stuff. It's not good for fibroids. They help them grow. And so that was my main purpose when I have to really be consistent so I can, be completely done because I don't want to have the surgery anymore. So that, that is definitely going to be, I guess I'm going to have to go ahead and watch it. But
honestly, I watch the documentaries, but one thing I'll say about some of the documentaries as far as changing my mind view, as far as just on meat, period, is what they're doing to the animals. Now, I know some people that like raise their own food and so on and so forth. That's a different story. A lot of the stuff that we're sold to in the stores has been injected with so much stuff. They've been fed so much stuff, and that stuff gets in us. But also the documentaries that I will watch, especially Sadie. I will watch Sadie, Dr. Africa, a guy named Dr. Tim Morrow, and I started learning about herbs and just certain types of food, and it just opened my eyes to a whole lot of stuff that I just didn't know. So as I started trying these different foods, it just changed my whole life. So therefore, I wasn't just stuck on the same old beef, turkey, chicken, and pigs. I mean, we just eat the same old thing, but now it's so much more. So it was just like a total transformation mentally, and it just totally changed my life.
And you make a very valid point, because most people who hear I'm vegan, or if you tell somebody, oh, they're vegan or something like that, they immediately think of salad. All you're eating is like grass food, and there are raw vegans. There, I didn't until I started, researching and getting more involved in this lifestyle. There are different type of vegans, and so I'm in a group. Well, we're both in a group, Black Vegans Beginners Group. And because of them, and if anybody has not heard of Tabitha Brown by now, I don't care if you still eat 4 pork chops a day. People still watch Tabitha Brown because she is amazing.
That's true.
She's amazing. She's been vegan for 3 years now, and she did it also for health purposes. And it has changed her life. But she makes the food, she makes it fun cooking it. And, like I used to love burgers. I can make and fried chicken. I use oyster mushrooms to make fried chicken. I fry them and cook them like fried chicken. And I don't think it's necessarily that people wouldn't mind switching to a vegan lifestyle. They just don't want to miss the taste. I think that's the issue with a lot of people saying, oh, I'll never not eat meat. You can. I'm telling you, the stuff that we're cooking, that I cook now, sometimes it amazes me. It has been I'm like, wow, I don't have to eat that anymore. I can eat it. I can eat this.
Taste. And honestly, like you were just saying, still having burgers and things like that. I was just talking to someone Sunday, and what it boils down to is the seasoning. You can make it taste like you want. Because no one that I know of takes a pack of chicken, wash the chicken, and then just bakes it without putting anything on it. You have to put seasoning on it. So like you say, with the mushrooms or, let's say, cauliflower, the same seasoning that you would have put on your chicken, you put it on that, and man, you still got that same taste. But I will say this, most people think vegan, they think healthy. And I have to let people know, vegan does not mean healthy. Because there is
a fat vegan.
Exactly.
It's some fat vegans. So they eating junk. They're eating junk vegan food.
Right. So there's a junk vegan, and then there's a healthy vegan. Now, I'll be honest. When I first started in 2016, I was strictly health. I mean, I didn't really try no vegan burgers or nothing like that. I was straight seasoning, fruits and vegetables, broccoli, black beans. I mean, I eat so much beans that you call me Bean Tim or something. I mean, I was really, just really focused on health, but I started to kind of relax a little bit in 2017, 2018, started trying like vegan meatloaf. I was like, oh my God, this stuff is good. But one thing I noticed, I was starting to put on a little weight or whatnot. You know what I mean? So I learned real quick that if you're not careful, you can let that get out of hand, because if you put in the same season, same sugar, and same type of ingredients, you can possibly have some of the same effects. So I always let people know that just because you went vegan does not mean healthy. But I will say this, if you're trying to transition into vegan, then I think going into the vegan burgers, that's a step in the right direction. It's a process. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I think that's a great way to do it. I start with the vegan burger, the vegan patties, and things like that. And you'll kind of see that, hey, I can live without meat and dairy and so on and so forth, and then you can just kind of transition. Because, like I say, a lot of stuff we just have not been exposed to. So when you become exposed to a lot of stuff, you start to taste it. I don't know why people, they look, say, it's vegan, they just frown up like, whoa, what's going on? Like, is something wrong with it? Oh, it's vegan. Okay, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like, don't eat that apple. It's vegan. I mean, it's like a stigma to it. It's like it's not negative. Once people try, like, okay, stuff is pretty good. So I always try to encourage people to just start small, because I don't want you to jump out there and you fail, and then you just go right back and just give up. So then you brought up a good point.
Even if you fail, like I have several times, I still, for the most part, 90% of my diet is veganish. I basically eat, like you said, beans, vegetables, fruit, watermelon. That's all I pretty much eat. However, like I said, I'm trying to completely let fish go. I did 30 days without anything early this summer, and, I was fine. I was okay because I know how to cook my stuff now. But I'm really trying to let it completely go.
It's going to be good.
What was one of the hardest things for you to give up when you first started? Even though your mind was made up, what was still one of the hardest things that was like, oh, my gosh, I wish I could eat this?
Man, I'm going to be honest, fried chicken.
Yes.
I'm just going to be honest, man. It's like it's something about that crunch.
Yes.
Fried chicken, man. It's hard to explain, but that was tough. And another thing that was tough is sweet potato pie, pecan pie. That was like a personal thing of mine that I said I was not going to eat, especially before I made that jump and fully committed January the 1st, 2016. I just remember at Christmas of 2015, I told myself I wasn't going to eat no sweet potato pie, no pecan pie. As soon as I got to my auntie house, Christmas Day, guess what they had right there as soon as you walk in? Sweet potato pie, pecan pie. But I'll say this, I got back home that night, and I went through that whole day without eating it. It showed me mentally that if you really set your mind to it, you can do it. And that kind of helped me with my hardest challenge, which was that fried chicken. So once I got past that, it wasn't a big problem. But I will say this too. Another thing was cheese.
Yeah.
Because yes, like I say, if you want to make a casserole, just throw some cheese on it. Bam, there it is. Casserole, instant casserole. Just throw cheese on it. Want green bean casserole? Throw some cheese on it. So for me, that was a big one, because a lot of stuff that I would eat, even like on salad, is always packed with cheese. So those were the two of the main struggles that I had. But on the flip side, another struggle was trying to do the right thing. Sometimes we focus so much on stopping what we consider wrong, and we neglect to do the things that we should do. Drinking a lot of water, that was tough. Water don't have no taste. You know what I mean?
Well, I love water, so I drink over again. That was never an issue for me.
That was a big one. That was a real big one for me. So I had to start making like infused water, putting lemons and cucumbers and things like that, until I really got the concept. Once, like I say, back to the mind, once I realized that we're mostly water and it's important to stay hydrated, and made it easier. So like I say, a lot of times I tell people it's not sometimes so much as focusing on what not to do, but try to start focusing on the things that we should do.
Good. That's a good quote. So, Tim, as you know, the experts in the medical field have been advising that we eat more fruits and vegetables, increase our water intake, as well as take certain supplements in order to fight the coronavirus. Of course, along with washing our hands and wearing masks. And I've seen some of your posts saying things like, COVID-19 is killing people, but so is heart disease, or so is diabetes. And pretty much you're saying we should have been changing our eating before COVID-19 in order to rid ourselves of everyday ailments that people have been dealing with for years. Do you think that COVID-19 has been a wake-up call for people with underlying conditions?
Oh, yes, definitely. And if it hasn't, I believe it's time for them to really snap out of it, because what I'm looking at is most of the people that are being affected the most of those that have these underlying conditions. So it's so very important that going forward, because like I say, where we are right now, we haven't gotten into October, November, December. There could be another big wave. I think now is the time that we really start focusing on improving our health, strengthening our immune system, and getting ourselves back on track, especially if you have underlying conditions. I think this was like a major wake-up call because when you look at some of the areas, like here in Mississippi, we was considered like the unhealthiest state before COVID, and now we're getting cases that's like, I mean, I think we might be leading the way as far as how many cases, but like you say, going back, you look at the areas that are affected the most, or the areas that had the most underlying conditions. So, big wake-up call.
You know, and I pretty much know the answer to this, but I'm asking for the listener's sake. Why are people with underlying conditions more at risk?
Number one, your ability to fight off any type of infection. Your body is already overworked dealing with the things that you're already dealing with. And if your immune system is already has been invaded, so to speak, it's so easy for something to come in and just take over. And that's what it boils down to. Keeping a healthy body keeps a healthy immune system that makes you able to ward off these things that try to attack you on a day-to-day basis.
Makes sense. Yeah, but you're right. It's overworked, and it's just like your body, like, I really can't take on any other type of situation going on.
Exactly.
That makes sense. That does make a lot of sense.
And the thing is, when we say our immune system, I believe that's like the only defense system that we have is the immune system. And by us constantly, number one, the food that we consume, dehydration, and lack of sleep, these major things is like you're destroying the only thing that you have to defend you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if your defense system is weak, the intruder can just march right on in, and I believe that's what's happening right now. Let me say this real quick too, because someone may be listening, because I hear this a lot. Some people say, well, you got healthy 20-year-olds that are getting COVID too, right? I've heard people say that, like, it's affecting healthy 20-year-olds. But I had to stop and think that, just think about these 20-year-olds that was raised on Hot Pockets. I mean, how healthy do you think they are? I mean, think about it. They say that this generation is the only generation now that may not even outlive their parents. So this condition, this was a problem already for young people. Young people are being affected by diabetes, heart disease. Young people are on medication. So, listen, I pray that this is a wake-up call to show and expose of the problem that we were already having. And that's why, and you know me, you know my heart, you know, that's why I've been going so hard for these last 5 years. It's kind of like trying to wake us up. It's time to win. It's time to go. And like I say, not knowing that something like this will happen, but like I say, it's here. It's time to just keep going now. You know what I mean?
Right. And, you know, you mentioned, you know, the young adults, 20-year-olds, and I was listening to the news the other day, and they reported a rare heart condition that could be linked with the coronavirus is fueling concern among Power 5 conference administrators about the viability of college sports this fall. And as you know, the Pac-12 and the Big Ten postponed their fall seasons the other day. And one of the reasons is because of this rare heart condition called myocarditis. And what it is the inflammation of the heart has been found in at least 5 Big Ten conference athletes and among several other athletes in other conferences, according to 2 sources with knowledge of athletes' medical care. And I'm reading this. Did you hear about that?
That's I'm like, wow, I did not know.
Yeah. The condition is usually caused by a viral infection, including those that cause the common cold, H1N1 influenza, or mononucleosis. That's undiagnosed and untreated. It can cause heart damage and sudden cardiac arrest, which can be fatal. It's a rare condition, but the COVID-19 virus has been linked with myocarditis with a higher frequency than other viruses based on limited studies since the start of the pandemic. Now that's scary because for a lot of parents and students, because they have to, first of all, student athletes have to have regular checkups and they have to have a good bill of health just to even play sports. And I'm assuming, and this is just me assuming, I'm assuming it attacks the heart muscles in athletes because they may work their heart muscles more than the average person.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, and y'all, this is strictly my opinion because no experts have said that. I'm just guessing because of the link of myocarditis with the athletes. You know, that's crazy. And,
it is. It really is.
You know, people are thinking, well, if I get the virus, I'll be okay, blah, blah, blah. But it's doing more to some people. It's doing other stuff to them.
Right. I know one nurse was saying that, some people have what they call recovered, but they're still not 100%. You know what I mean? In other words, their lives are still changed forever because it may have caused more damage than what they once thought it was going to do, like they affect other areas. But I just remember before COVID, there were athletes that were falling out in practice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the whole concept is that it's time right now for us to start building our immune system because, like you say, this is what I thought, Sonya, is that when we got to the hot months, the heat was just gonna kill this thing, right? Next thing I know, it looked like the heat was baking it, cooking it, or something because the amount of cases just went through the roof in the summer months. So if they was expecting it to go down in the summer months and it went up, just imagine what's gonna happen in the cold months, and that's when they was expecting it to go up. You know what I mean?
See, because Dr. Fauci, not to cut you off, he had actually really nobody knew what this virus was doing, so they were assuming that the heat would be the catalyst to bring in, decreasing pandemic and the numbers. But it, like you said, it rose because nobody really knows what is going on with this thing. And with the flu season coming up, that's a double whammy. And
exactly.
I really, that. First of all, I've never taken a flu shot. And November, and I rarely get sick. November of last year, I was sick for 3 weeks. I think I had COVID then. And when I say I was sick, I mean, it was bad. I couldn't go to work.
Wow.
I was home for like a week and a half. And it was during Thanksgiving to the point I went over to my mom's, and she ended up getting sick behind me. But I really, really think because of how I've been eating, and I always take supplements. Mama always, she juices every day and taking different supplements. As a matter of fact, she's 78 and she's not on any type of medication whatsoever.
Wow, Mama. Wow,
and
that's amazing, man.
So I really think that had a lot to do with it because they did an article came out like in March saying that if you were sick between November and January, you could have had COVID. So I really think I had it then. But it is very important to make some changes. You're right. I mean, like now. And
right now.
According to the governor of Mississippi in the news, it's been recorded, Mississippi governor, it's been reported that the numbers have actually gone down in the state of Mississippi, which is awesome news. Our numbers have been 1,000+ new cases every day for the last month. However, I saw the news last night and reported there were 644 new cases, so it has declined. And
awesome.
With that being said, what are some of the things that you take or suggest to our listeners to help build our immune system?
Awesome. Man, listen, let's just the immune system. We've been talking about the immune system. People always ask the immune system, well, a lot of people don't ask what the immune system is. We just start talking about the immune system. But exactly what is the immune system? That's something we got to understand, that it is a system, right? There's a lot of different parts that are working together for one purpose, and that's to defend us, right? So think about our cells, our organs, our tissues, but let's look at some of the major parts of the immune system. And I get into what I normally do to try to keep my immune system intact. But once I found out what are some of the major parts to the immune system, that's when I can start focusing on what I need to do. All right, so the major part of the immune system I found out was the gut. I was doing research, and I found out that it said that 70 to 80% of the immune system is located in our gut. Our gut has certain bacteria that are very beneficial to our body. And like I said, I would have never thought that was the gut. You understand what I'm saying? So I had to start thinking about my colon. I started eliminating waste from my colon because a lot of times, a lot of the food that we eat is very constipating. All right. So by working with my gut, my colon, that's a way that I start to build my immune system as I start to eliminate the waste. And another system that's major to the immune system is the lymphatic system. All right. And that's a system that somebody may have be listening like the lymph who? You know what I mean? Because that's something that's never talked about is the lymphatic system, how important the lymphatic system is. And that's like some people call it the sewage system. We got lymph nodes all over our bodies that are designed to trap toxins and help to get these toxins out. Wow. And guess what? If our lymph system is sluggish and not functioning properly, not getting the waste out, now you got waste all through your body. You understand what I'm saying? So understanding the immune system, understanding what are the parts of the immune system, now you're educated to know what things you need to start doing. So with that note, okay, you got the bone marrow, your white blood cells, and so on and so forth. These are certain parts. But I just started to focus on my colon and my gut. That's what the most of it is, and the lymphatic system. And certain herbs I constantly take is, when I say certain herbs, I'm dealing with the colon and my lymphatic system. Everybody got me on that? So just going through certain things that I do. And I'm just going to kind of share with you certain herbs that I would normally use to help cleanse my colon. There's an herb called Cascara sagrada. Can you say that with me?
Cascara?
Sagrada.
Sagrada?
Sagrada. Cascara sagrada.
Okay.
All right. There you go. Now, let's just say sometimes make it in a tea is not the best tasting, but I promise you it's going to start to help eliminate the waste, especially if you eat the standard American diet. I'll put it like this. They say a lot of Americans are constipated, all right? And when you think about constipation, if you can't eliminate the waste, I mean, you're full of waste. I got me on that? So, and you understand why, as Americans, our immune system, when you look at the diet and we're constipated, it messes up your immune system. Because, like I say, 70 to 80% is located in the gut. There's another one called psyllium husk. I'm pretty sure something else that we're most familiar with, ginger root. You can get that at Walmart, Kroger. You can even find the psyllium husk at Kroger. And let's talk about the lymphatic system. There's a herb called sarsaparilla. It's a very good one. Burdock root. So these are some of the things I do just to kind of get my body on track, especially when I'm feeling a certain way. And then just as far as food, fruit and vegetables.
With the psyllium husk and ginger root and everything, is this daily that you do, or these are just?
I normally would put like ginger and things like that in my smoothies. I make what's called my winning water. My winning water consists of lemons. I take a mason jar, fill it up with water. I put some lemons, some ginger root, slice up some ginger root, put it in there, and I sprinkle a little bit of cayenne pepper. I found out the power of keeping the blood flowing, and I didn't realize that spicy foods and things like cayenne pepper helps with blood flow, which is so very, very important. So, yeah, it's like certain things like that I do on a day-to-day basis. Now, like Cascara sagrada, I may not do that every day, all right? Because normally when I'm eating fruits and vegetables, especially raw fruits and vegetables, the raw fruits and vegetables have enzymes in them, right?
Right.
You just think about certain fruits and vegetables. I mean, they'll just start to decompose right there, and that's what they're doing inside your body. Eating fruits and vegetables, there is living food. There's living enzymes, And what they're going to do, they're going to constantly break down inside your gut, and it's going to help it to pass right on out. But eating processed food is dead food. A lot of times that processed food just get there and it just stops. And a lot of times I found out you can have up to 10 to 20 pounds of waste in your colon. And you can have something in there from last year. That's just how bad it is.
Wow.
But like I say, if I'm eating certain types of vegan food, like we talked about earlier, then I know, okay, I need to get this out of me. You understand what I'm saying? So I may do that maybe once a week. But I, like I say, constantly eating those fruits and vegetables, especially in the raw state, it kind of helps keep you regular, especially if you're drinking a lot of water. So like I say, I don't do it every day. There's other certain teas that I drink every day because, like I say, I drink herbs to keep my body intact. Herbs strengthen the body. So that's why I drink a lot of herbal teas. And when I say herbal teas, I go to a herb shop. There's one right here in Mississippi called Herbal Blessings. I go there. Man, they're so knowledgeable, man. Anything you ask, they can point you in the right direction. And that's like I say, that goes back to that getting your mind right part when I started learning about the power of herbs and plants to the point where we started growing food and trying to grow our own stuff. But like I say, going back to the immune system, a lot of the things that I'm talking about are very beneficial to build up your immune system. When we talk about fruits, we're looking at oranges, a lot of vitamin C, things like that are things that actually strengthen your body. All right, so just imagine you're getting a lot of the waste out of your colon. You're gonna feel lighter. You'll be energized. Your lymphatic system is functioning properly. And now the major thing that makes the lymphatic system function is staying active. All right, because you have to move to get that lymph flowing. So staying active, getting exercise, going walking, these are things that increase your immune system. And believe it or not, something that's so simple as what I'm about to say is something people never even think about when it comes to the immune system. But getting good sleep, Sonya, is so very important. A lot of us, we're just going and going and going. We're so used to going off of 2, 3, 4 hours of sleep, and we think we're good. But you just think about any type of electronic system, especially your computer. At some point, you got to shut that thing down. Because if not, it starts to run slow, and that's something my children like, Dad, something going on with it. Move out the way. I'll unplug it for a minute, plug it back up, hey, good to go. But like I say, you have to shut down. We're going and going and going. You're weakening your immune system. Sometimes some of the stuff we listen to, the stress, I love to get out and get some of that good sunshine, man. So these are just certain things that I do to build my immune system. But I want to talk about this real quick if I can. Let's look at things that hurt the immune system. All right? Is it okay? Can I hit on that for just a minute?
Yes. Before you do, going back to the lymphatic system, my mom, of course, told me about this. I had no idea that trampoline is good for the lymphatic system.
That bouncing. Okay.
People, I'm actually, I was looking at a rebounder this week, but if you don't want to go walking because it's too hot or you don't want to go to the gym right now, get you a rebounder, good trampoline. I'm not talking about these little cheap ones. That'll work too, but the rebounder, they're probably like $200 or $300. They're really, really, or more. It'll help out a lot. I just wanted to put that in real quick.
Awesome. But that's a good point. Just think about that constant movement, bounce up and down. It gets that lymph flowing. But like I say, if you're eliminating that weight, and let me say this too, when I started in 2016, I lost so much weight. It was just unbelievable. The people were acting like, bruh, what are you doing? I said, man, listen, changing my diet and I walk on my lunch break. Check this out. I was steadily walking, and I found out about herbs and started cleaning my colon, and I was drinking water and changing my diet. And the combination together, my health just went through the roof. It was just amazing. But yeah, let's go back to certain things that are very damaging to our immune system. And it's something that probably the underlying cause for a lot of the sickness that we have. And that word is inflammation. All right? I talked to a lady Sunday.
I heard it.
Say it again now.
I heard Kofi telling you, Kofi Cloud.
Yes.
Inflammation. That was good.
Listen,
I'm sorry.
I wrote what she said down because I was like, wow. But she said that she was 290 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So for her to be 290 pounds and now she's like 150, 160, somewhere up in there, amazing. But she said something that was so amazing. She said a lot of it wasn't fat.
Inflammation.
Most of the time, we're not fat. We're just inflamed. That blew my mind.
That blew my mind.
When you think about it, we eat a lot of dairy, we eat a lot of cheese, we eat a lot of meat, we eat a lot of sugars, refined oil. We eat a lot of things that cause our body to become inflamed. And believe it or not, inflammation is like a response, right? When you think about when you get injured, you see like pus and things like that. It's like a response. We never give the body time to get rid of that inflammation. We're constantly eating things that inflame our body, and it's just damaging to our immune system. Like, I'm trying to repair you. I'm trying. But you keep doing it. You keep cutting yourself every time you eat this. So if we're going to really, like I say, this ain't no little rinky-dink stuff we're talking about here. We're talking about really, really, really focusing on the immune system. Again, just focusing on our health. Don't get me wrong. Yes. And listen, when I'm out in public, I got my mask on. Listen, I lady was all up on me today. I'm like, man, you better get your 6 feet. I mean, Listen, I'm doing all that. When I go to Kroger or Walmart or whatever store, they have the little spray bottle. You're supposed to spray it and wipe it down. Man, listen, I spray the whole bottle and just keep walking. I want the stuff to still be on there. I don't want to dry it off. Just let it stay on there and keep me clean. But more than that, way more than that, I'm focusing on what I'm putting in my body. Because, listen, a lot of times it's important to do that, but if you're not doing what's most important, which is that immune system, you got people that say, listen, I had my mask on, I social distance, and I still got COVID. Well, how's your diet? Oh, I ain't worried about that. I just make sure I have. We got to do both. You see what I'm saying? So the things that we're talking about right now is that surefire thing that we can do to keep our immune system. Number one, listen, we talk about sports, right? Everybody know a good sports team got to have a good offense and also a good defense. And people always tell me that it's defense that win championships, right?
Right.
So we got to take that same approach to our bodies. We got to say, we got to be like Matumbo with that one finger. When somebody try to give you something you don't like, you throw that one finger. Not in here. You understand what I'm saying? How we got to be. We got to be so focused on playing defense, but like I say, we can't just focus on what not to eat. We got to focus on offense. We got to start doing the things that we know is going to strengthen our immune system. Like you were saying, there's certain people you can watch. Like you shared somebody's video the other day. There's so many people on YouTube, Instagram that are showing you how to make healthy food, how to take the food and make it good, make it tasty, make it exciting. There's so much information out there that we can use because I promise you, we're at that point right now. I call August the calm before the storm. This is our time right now to really make a push, get our minds right, and let's start getting our health back together. So very important.
True. And some of the things that I like, for me, I take elderberry every day. I take 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C, and I do sea moss. Now, sea moss has been a big hit this year, in the last year or so. I had never heard of it before, and the only reason why I heard of it is because of the beginners Black vegan group I'm in. And my mom said, well, why don't you ask them, what can a senior citizen take, what type of supplement, vitamins that, not supplement, but a multivitamin. And they said that she doesn't need it, just tell her to take sea moss. It has 92 of the 102 minerals that our body needs every day. So what I do is it tastes like sea. It really does, y'all. So either I put it, and I got it from Herbal Blessing, because I didn't want to make it and mess it up, so I just went and got it already made. They have a sea moss gel. You can make it yourself, or you can get the gel. Certain companies make it now. However,
Awesome.
either I put it in my smoothie, but what I like about my friend introduced me to putting it in applesauce. She makes her own applesauce, and I'm going to make my own, but I already have some. So I put it in my applesauce every day, and that's how I take it. So, and of course, like Kim said, water, simple stuff, eating fruits and vegetables, drinking more water, and getting rest. It's very, very simple, but sometimes it's so hard because I guess people feel like life is happening. We have to put those things in our, regimen every day.
Right.
Do it if you want to get some help.
That's it. You said something that's so key. It's simple, but at the same time, it's difficult.
Yeah.
And one of the major reasons why it's difficult, because this is something that for a lot of us, this has been a way of life, right?
Right.
So even once you get past that and say, hey, I'm going to do it, now you got so much temptation now because everywhere you turn, whether on your job, when you get around family, just driving home, you got to pass all the stores. You know what I mean?
Just watching TV, looking at commercials. I'm looking at a Burger King commercial now. I mean, it's always something.
So that's the tough part. But like you say, it's a day-to-day thing. It's kind of like what people say when you want to build wealth. It's not overnight. It's a process. It's the day-to-day things that you do. When I think about the great Michael Jordan, or we can say Michael Jordan, or we can say the greatest that has ever played basketball, LeBron James, somebody like that.
You know what? You're about to get hung up on right now. I was beaming when you said Michael Jordan. Don't play, but go ahead. I like LeBron, but listen, not the greatest.
One of the greatest. I feel like that.
Okay,
but,
one of the greatest.
But let's talk about Michael Jordan, because I watched the Last Dance. I got a chance to see that. It came on Netflix. I think I probably watched almost the whole season in one night. But just to see his work ethic of what he did every single day to win a championship that they would celebrate for a moment, then they got to go right into the off season to get ready to try to do it all over again. So I said, if he can do that, win a championship, how much more can I do that for my health, for my life, for my wife, my children, so I can be here and enjoy them? How much more can I sacrifice every day? I mean, he would go to the gym every day. I remember they talked about the Pistons were just beating him down because he was weak, basically. That same night they lost, they went to the gym. They started pumping that iron. Why? Because they wanted to beat the Pistons that next year. So what I'm saying is, we got COVID. We got another round of COVID that's possibly coming. So Pistons, right? Yep. This is the time for us to get in the gym, or I'm just using that as a metaphor, but get in the kitchen, so to speak, to start building ourselves up so we can be prepared, man. It's so serious, but it just seems like it's just taken for granted. This is our life. We got to get it. We got to go. But like you say, it's every single day, a little bit every day. You'll be amazed at the results that you get.
It's true. I totally agree. And I'm hoping that people are, I think, and I'll use America because, other countries have kind of like moving on. New Zealand, they're living life normal again. I think it's so much pride. This country is so prideful. And the Bible talks about pride comes before the fall. It's so prideful that some so angry, it's my right. I don't want to wear a mask. Or, it's my right. I can go and, go to a party or hang out with my friends and do this and do that. Right now, we need to really, focus on what's going on.
So much.
Very serious. And
very serious.
We need to really, really, just slow it down, do what we need to do so we can get past this and move on.
Exactly.
Too many people have died. I went to a COVID funeral in April. My friend's mom, she passed away, and he actually tested positive for it, simply because he works out every day and the way he eats. Matter of fact, he had went on a 30-day challenge, no meat. He asked me like a few weeks before it happened, did I think he can do it? I was like, yeah. And the nurse actually told him because of how he was eating them 30 days helped him.
Wow.
And they actually asked for his plasma.
Wow, that is amazing.
Because
that's
those
a powerful
30
testimony.
days, right, those
Wow.
30 days. But I went to a COVID funeral, and we couldn't touch it. We couldn't console each other. We couldn't hug. That bothers me because I'm a touchy person. I love to hug, and this is enough. We need to really get it together. I'm praying that everybody will take this serious and just go on so we can get back to our lives. And not necessarily back to normal because it'll never be normal again because so much we've lost so much. But at the same time, we've gained a lot. We've learned how to be with family again. Connections are happening.
This was most important.
COVID babies. Matter of fact, Tim's third baby was
COVID baby. Like that.
Tim's third baby is a vegan baby. So, gentlemen, if you've been having issues because of high blood pressure and also sea moss, it's a libido. It helps. So, it's so many ways.
Can I say something? Please. That's a tricky one right there because being on blood pressure medication, if there's any men out there on blood pressure medication, speaking from experience, I know what it could start to do. All right, and like you just mentioned, I think that's what you were talking about is that when I went plant-based, like I said, we had 2 children, but hey, I think my favorite slogan is we started eating like rabbits and we started acting like rabbits. But like you say, it was like you got my mojo back. But let me say this real quick though.
Yeah.
I got my mojo back. Like I say, but let me say this. At the beginning of this year, we started what's called the Rebuild Your Temple cleanse, all right? And so what I did, I started working with the herbalist, right? So she put together herbal combinations that will hit certain parts of the body, certain systems, I'll put it like that. So we started out with the colon, the digestive system. Then we went to the lymphatic system. We hit the blood, the liver, the lungs. But that herbal package was designed to start cleansing our whole body. And I'm just so thankful that we did that. Those that started at the beginning of the year, they were so thankful because we didn't know in March our lives were going to change. Right. You know what I mean? So it's just amazing what we can do when we start working together. And just the mental clarity, let me say that, I'm going to bring it up before we go. The mental clarity that I got when I started eating clean was just phenomenal. My mood changed. Things that once would make me upset, I was just like brush it off. It was just like a calming effect as my body started to heal. And it's, like I say, it's a process. It's a process that's well worth it.
Well worth it. And just keep praying for me, brother. I'm working on it. I'm making strides, but that's all I can say. By the end of the year, I'm completely vegan, and I'm gonna speak it right now. So
it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Now, I've enjoyed this. I promise I have. Thank you so much for inviting me.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. But before you go, tell the listeners how they can follow your group page to get more information on how to win in their health, wealth, and relationships.
Awesome. What you can do is you can find me on social media. You can look for Tim White, but we have a separate group for those that are serious called the Winner Circle. And in that Winner Circle, we're constantly giving information, number one, on improving your health, but also how to improve your wealth and relationships, building up relationships. So like I say, find me at Tim White. You can find my page. It's all about the W. I like to say, or you can join the Winner Circle. And we also have a page, Sonia, I want to mention this too. We have a nonprofit that we started called the Joseph Vision, where we're constantly encouraging people to start to grow your own food. It was so common to know that at one point when we could not go to the stores, I could just go right there in my backyard and pick fruits and vegetables.
Wow.
So it's taking it to a whole other level. But like I say, that's something that we have to start doing. And we started this long time ago. We weren't saying, hey, let's do this because the pandemic was coming. We didn't know. We just knew that it was best to start growing your own food because that's where health comes from. So
God was getting you prepared,
yes, I can believe that.
I guess because of your eating changing, you had more clarity to hear. So
Yes.
to even start that. So I want to start one, but you know how I am about bugs, so I don't know. But anyway, you can follow me on Facebook at She Say Sports. Also, She Say Sports 23 on Instagram. Guys, that's my show for today. Till next time, this is Sonia with She Say Sports, and I'll see you on the radio.